Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of r/malicious compliance. In today's episode, lazy manager learns how not to treat a dependable employee. Cold hard cash. Sure thing. I'm more qualified for tour job than you are. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe so that you will never miss a video. Let's get started. Lazy manager learns how not to treat a dependable employee. Working in retail most of my life, I have encountered some really bad managers. As such, I know I became a pretty petty employee and I've served up some sweet malicious compliance in my day. This is by far my favorite story though because it even has a touch of petty revenge. Years ago when I was just a newlywed, I worked for an auto parts retailer. We service professional garages as well as walk-in customers. My job was as a merchandiser. This meant it was my duty to keep up with displays and inventory. I checked in shipments and put them away every day. I put up the sales images in the windows and when areas needed to be changed. Stock moved, new price labels put up, etc. That was my job. Those tasks didn't usually take all day. I could get them done in a few hours. The rest of my day was spent working the counter, answering calls, helping customers, cleaning and getting to take the delivery truck out to deliver parts to the garages. Driving deliveries was the best. I could listen to the radio, have a soda and visit with the clients. But I had the misfortune of working for the laziest manager I've ever known. We'll call him LM for short. Seeing a trustworthy worker who had a good relationship with the clients, LM began putting more responsibilities on me. Time wore on and my job description was forgotten. I started having to answer his emails, deal with the inter-store and corporate memos that came in, and running deposits to the bank when the assistant manager wasn't there. Man, this wasn't a big deal. It took maybe 45 minutes at most each day and I wasn't having to deal with the often misogynistic walk-in customers. So I didn't mind. Then came the day our assistant manager left. I can't remember if he quit or got a transfer or what, long time ago, doesn't matter. LM decides, since I'm so dependable, to give me keys to the store and start scheduling me to close so he can go home to his wife and kids. Hey, it's more hours so I don't mind at first. And he dangles that lovely promotion over my head. Ooh, the thought of a raise had me jumping because, as I said, I was a newlywed and we were saving to buy a house. The promotion never came. According to LM, I didn't have the required ASE certification to be an assistant manager. So I was still on payroll as a merchandiser despite the fact that I was now opening the store 6:30 a.m., closing the store there till after 10 p.m. some nights, making deposits, making sure all the drawers had proper change, handling emails, answering inter-store and corporate memos, checking in stock and controlling inventory, making sure the store looked as it should, still handling the counter to cover lunch breaks for everyone else, still making deliveries, handling the majority of the professional client accounts, handling employment applications and interviews for new hires, entering the schedule and adjusting payroll for all the other employees. I was full on doing the assistant manager job with nothing to show for it except circles under my eyes because LM was constantly changing my schedule to suit his needs. Anytime I tried to tweak the schedule to give myself even 2 days off in a row, he'd come in behind me and change it. All he basically did was cover for me on my rare days off and spent most of his day bullshitting with customers or going out for professional visits with a couple of clients who were friends of his. LM's attitude nearly cost us some of our big accounts, but since I was constantly driving a delivery truck on top of everything else, I had a better relationship with most of the clients. We're in the South, even grease monkeys won't be rude to a lady. I was able to get them to keep their business with us. It helped that I was a slightly plump and sweet-faced young woman. My calming manner and reasonable politeness could always calm them down. But you're waiting for malicious compliance. Here it comes. Our store got a major revamp. We're talking overtime, new displays, grand reopening. It was huge. This also occurred around the same time as the big yearly week-long management conference. So, my hours skyrocketed. After LM got back from the management conference, he took off for another week to spend time with his family, leaving me in charge again. It was pure hell. For 2 months, I worked practically non-stop. I think in a 90-day period after that grand reopening I had 3 days off. The last straw came when I opened a corporate memo reminding LM that his ASE certification had never been completed, and he needed to contact them about setting up a time for the test. What? All this time and he wasn't even certified either. I was done. It was time to lay it on the line. After a late night close where I didn't get home until 11 p.m., I was back in the store at 6:30 a.m. to open. I hadn't had a full day off in 3 weeks at this point. I was doing my usual duties, getting ready for the other employees to show up when in walks LM. You know how this goes. I won't insult your intelligence. LM, oh hey, I just wanted to drop in and remind you to make sure you do the payroll today. Me, of course I'm going to do payroll today. It's on my list. Note, I'm speaking in a sleep-deprived, depressed tone because I was completely exhausted. LM, good, and I saw there's some new display materials still back here. You should have gotten that done already. Me, we were slammed yesterday and had the guys call in sick. I didn't have time. I'll get it done. Hey, listen, I've been meaning to ask you. I know we don't have anyone else asking for time off right now. I've got time saved up and I could really use a vacation. LM cuts me off. No, me, what? LM, no way, I need you here. My anniversary is next week and I promised my wife. Me, I cut him off. Seriously, everybody else here gets to take long weekends or full weeks of vacation, and I'm burning out. I've been working near solid for the last 3 months, including the whole weekend of my husband's birthday. LM, well, I'm the boss and I get to say who gets vacation. You can have Sunday off or something. ITT was Tuesday I think, can't remember, but Sunday was several days away. Me, so done with his crap, I start raising my voice. No, that's not good enough. I'm tired, I'm worked to the bone, I'm answering calls at my own house with our business name. You go home every night to your wife and kids in a clean house, and supper waiting and your laundry done, and there's no one at my house doing that while I'm here 60 hours a week. I want my vacation and you're going to approve it. Either that or you sit down here right now and put in for my raise and a promotion. LM, you can't just make demands like that. You don't have the ASE certification anyway. I can't just hand you a promotion. You need to calm down. Me, gritting my teeth at this point and ready to shove that corporate memo down his throat. Just give me a set schedule and a long weekend then. I need more than 1 day off a month. LM laughs at me. Huh, that's not how this works. I need you here, and I'll schedule you when I need you. If you want a set schedule and a raise, you might as well look for another job. Now, little note, I kept my keys to the store on a special little keychain that I always clip to my belt loop. When he said that, it was malicious compliance time. I jerked the keys off my belt loop and threw them at him. Me, fine. I will. Run it your damn self. I turn and start walking to the back door. LM, hey, get back here. You're scheduled to work today. I'm not even supposed to be here. He probably should have thought of that before he decided to drop in on me on his day off. I'm out the door and heading to my car, fuming. He's at the door with my keys in his hand. LM, what are you doing? Me, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm quitting. You told me to look for another job, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I drove off, leaving him in the parking lot gaping at me like a goldfish. When I got home, he was already calling and my husband had picked up. The idiot was actually asking my husband if I'd really quit and if I'd come back into work maybe once I had calmed down. I ended up being contacted at home by the district manager. I told him everything. He admitted that ASE certification was only really required for managers, and there was no reason I shouldn't have been promoted to assistant. I brought up that I should really just lawyer up and sue them for gender discrimination. He offered me a generous severance package if I promised not to sue. I was so tired and done with the whole company that I agreed. I got my last 60+ hour paycheck mailed to me, and then also got a second check for 80 hours of paid vacation. The LM had to run the place by himself for a couple days until the district manager got him help. He didn't last with the company very long after that. Edit, for those wondering why I didn't get the ASE certification. It requires a certain amount and type of work experience that I did not have. I couldn't have qualified for it, or tested for it even if he'd allowed me the time off to go and sit for the test. Google it sometime. Cold hard cash, sure thing. Prefacing this with the information that 1. My grandma has too much money. 2. My grandma has too much time. 3. My grandma has too big of a freezer. And 4. My grandma is petty as duck. The story. I have a cousin who's always wanted all sorts of interesting things for his birthday. Grandma loved that. Absolutely ducking adored it. She gave me a blow in the behind turtle ocarina once and I love it. That should explain her gifting for you. Now, as he grew up he was less and less inclined to entertain grandma's whimsical ideas, and started requesting more mainstream presents. Grandma hated that and still found ways to make them whimsical. You want a guitar? Okay, but it'll have hippie wood-burning patterns on it. You want bed sheets? Sure thing, but they'll have tie-dye prints all over and be made of silk. If it was possible to make a gift whimsical, Grandma would do it. We all knew this and started getting awfully specific in what we requested until one year he threw his hands up and said, "I don't know, just give me cold hard cash." Bad move. Very bad move. Grandma has chest freezers. The kind that are 4 feet deep, 4 feet across, and 12 feet long. Grandma also lives on a little foresty cottage plot, which means Grandma has access to all sorts of gardening tools and tinkers. So Grandma being Grandma found a big bucket, a duck ton of little plastic seed bags, and got to work. Cousin of course was very excited to finally get a normal gift and was grinning at Grandma thinking that he finally won the game. That is, until Grandma brought out a 2x squared ice cube full of cash. Edited to add, measurement might be off. She used some sort of gardening bucket and I was very young when it happened. This story has been retold by Grandma so many times that I don't think she remembers the exact measurements either. It wasn't frozen together either, oh no. Grandma had gotten creative and layered the ducking ice gradually, freezing the cash solidly through the cube. This thing was icy white and oozing when brought into the room, and Grandma proudly announced that since he wanted cold hard cash she gave him exactly that. This mad woman froze the equivalent of $1,000 in the ice and mixed money. There were tiny coins and bigger coins and bills in little seed bags near the center. It took the block about a week to melt because my cousin's birthday is in January, and his mother refused to let it melt in the house for the fear of water damage, so it was Saturday in their garage slowly melting. Edited to add, bathtubs aren't common where I'm from and they didn't have one. Edit 2, it wasn't my block to melt and I'm not sure why cousin and co didn't put it in a shower. Moral of the story, don't duck with Grandma and her whimsical presents. I'm more qualified for tour job than you are. Apologies as I'm on mobile. Not sure if this is the right sub for it, but this is fresh off the press. Happened about an hour ago. I'm a head of sales and marketing for a major property developer with 10 years of experience in the industry. Several of those spent at a large competitor's company, let's call them Money Homes. They are considered the epitome of luxury due to the huge price tag. This will be important later on. My team covers all of the capital and a very large portion of the country. Roll on today, since we have only recently opened up and are launching new developments for which we don't yet have the staff. Today was the interview day. Normally for those kind of positions, the person would be interviewed by the sales manager for that particular development, sales coordinator, and sometimes one of the sales directors. Since it's a bit of a track for the sales director to come in for the interview, 12.5-hour train journey when we're supposed to limit non-essential travel. HR asked me to step in as new employees will be reporting to me anyway. Q8 applicants we have waiting. First few interviews go pleasantly well but nothing special. Until we meet interviewee number 4, meet Annabelle. Before she comes into the room she's sitting in the waiting area with other applicants, and not only I can hear her go on about how she pretty much has the job in the bag as she's overly qualified and the other guys are wasting their time. First mistake. Then I can see her shuffling through papers at the admin desk which was left unattended. Second mistake. She still doesn't realize that our office is behind a Venetian mirror. I can see her, she cannot see me. She hears the admin come back in and scurries away back to the seat. It's now her turn for the interview. She comes in, hands me a copy of her CV and sits down opposite myself and the other 2 members of my team. I look at her CV with a slight half smile, which I think she took as a good sign, so she goes off talking about her major accomplishments at different employers. She tells us that she's actually more interested in being hired for another position at our company, which she can assure me she's more qualified for than our current employee. She then starts spewing out figures of our marketing campaigns, which have not yet been published, and advises me on the results we should expect and what our next move in terms of marketing should be. I advise her that the only positions currently open are for sales staff, but asked her which one she's specifically interested in. She mentions, wait for it, sales and marketing director. My job? My co-workers both look at me in waiting, so I decide to play along. I've asked her what makes her more qualified than our current director. She comes back to the marketing figures point and asks me outright how many applicants are able to predict to a certainty what results you'll achieve, and then leads into a major point on her CV, Money Homes. So I started asking a little more about her position there. What was her area of responsibility, how long she has worked there, etc. She starts off telling this long, rehearsed story of how she started there as a negotiator a few years back, and worked her way up to associate director. Fancy name for managers responsible for more than one project. And how she eventually became sales and marketing director but is looking to leave, so discretion is of utmost importance. At that point I couldn't hold it in anymore. I really wanted to let her carry on, but I just burst out laughing and asked her to leave. She just gets very confused and starts asking what she said that has offended me. With the biggest grin on my face, I then said, it's one thing hearing you talk down to other applicants when you're supposedly looking for upper management position. Watch you steal confidential information from my admin's desk, while pulling the 2 pages out of her hand, our marketing reports, and telling me and my colleagues that you can do my job better than me by lying to me about your experience. She gets offended and starts going off at me that I know nothing about her, and she did not lie about her experience, and how would I have known that anyway? Annabelle, the reason I know you're lying is because I was the sales and marketing director at Money Homes during the years you have described, and not only do I know you were not in managerial position, I know that you were not even part of the department, even if you did work there, as the department was made of 42 employees, all of which I knew by name. I recommend that if you do indeed work there, you contact your director, as I will be filing a grievance against you for stealing confidential documents from their main competitor. Her face went pale as a sheet of cheap toilet paper. She turns on her heel, rips her CV out of my colleague's hands, and runs out the door. Like, does she really think we did not keep her details on email when she sent the doc through? Can't wait to see if I'll be hearing from her or Money Homes anytime soon. Edit. Had to take out couple of details in terms of my employment, as one of colleagues has seen the post and asked me about it. Actual story not changed. Also, Annabelle isn't her real name. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.